JJ McCarthy is Michigan's official starting quarterback for the rest of this 2022 season, folks. If you, like I am, and most Michigan football fans, hell, if all Michigan football fans, if you're pumped for JJ McCarthy, let's get the JJ Hype Train rolling in the comments. Go ahead and give me a JJ down in the comments. Let me know if you're pumped for this. I'm calling him a generational Wolverines quarterback. Let's see how many of you are as pumped as I am. Comment JJ down below. All right, it is our Overreaction Monday. I've got 5 things I want to talk to you about that I'm seeing social media, blogs, YouTube, etc. Everyone's talking about here on the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports right now. Welcome into Michigan Football Overreaction Monday. I am your host, James Yoder. James, why didn't you put out a video Sunday? James, where's your video after the game, etc.? I have an excuse, which is this place right here and the Chicago weather, which I'll talk about here in a second. But, folks, I want to know from you guys to start off. Usually do this on our Overreaction Sunday video. What is your personal overreaction from the win, the late night win over Hawaii on Saturday night? I've got quite a few, and we're actually going to show quite a few of my overreactions here in just a moment. But let me know in the comments, what's the one thing you left from the game, the moment the game was ended, or maybe, hell, halfway through the second quarter when it was 42-0, what was your biggest overreaction on this game? Let me know down in the comments. I think for most Michigan fans, it has something to do with the JJ McCarthy Hype Train. I made a lot of comments because I couldn't really put it on the internet because of the Wi-Fi situation, which we'll talk about here in a second. I made a lot of comments to friends, family during the game on Saturday, and then I tweeted a few things after the game. So let's take a few of my JJ McCarthy Hype Trains after the game. So with this coming 11:37 Central Time, so that's 12:37 Eastern, right around the game ended. NFL teams right now, remember tank for Trevor, tank for Tua, just lose for JJ. That's an overreaction from James Yoder there on Twitter. How about this one? A little bit before that, 10:53, JJ McCarthy is the Steph Curry of college football. What do I mean by that? Not that he shoots 3 pointers or anything like that, but he plays, the way he looks when he throws the ball, the way he looks when he runs the ball. It's unlike something I've ever seen. You know, maybe this is hyperbole a little bit, but JJ McCarthy just looks different, and what a start it's been for Michigan's starting quarterback, the sophomore, the 5-star out of the state of Illinois. 15 of 16 for 259 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions in his first 2 games, folks. 4 of 4 in the opener, 11 of 12 this past Saturday night against Hawaii when he got the start, and the only drop he had went right through Ronnie Bell's hands, so he could be a perfect 16 for 16 right now through 2 games and 1 start. Now, he doesn't have enough passing attempts to be the nation's leader in passing efficiency, but if you drop out the requirement of, I think it's like 10 or 12 passes a game required so far, which he doesn't have right there with only 16 attempts, he not only will be Pro Football Focus's #1 in their overall quarterback rating. If every quarterback is taking a snap, he would be tied for first with the James Madison quarterback in Pro Football Focuses, but also the official NCAA stats, NCAA.com quarterback ratings. JJ McCarthy, if he qualified, that's the asterisk. He doesn't technically qualify to be listed #1, but if you take away the pass requirements, he would be the #1 in quarterback efficiency by a big margin there for the NCAA. So hopefully Michigan gives him like 15, 18, 20 throws this week so he can qualify after his second start coming up Saturday on against UConn, 12 o'clock from Michigan Stadium. Folks, I don't even want to sugarcoat this. I don't want to downplay it at all. I truly believe that JJ McCarthy changes everything for this program. I believe that he has the offensive abilities, the throwing abilities, the game, the running prowess, and just the look, the feel, the confidence that Michigan needs to beat Ohio State, to beat Alabama, to beat Georgia, hell, to beat Clemson or to beat Penn State or Wisconsin or Michigan State. That's the easy part, I think. That's what we saw Cade McNamara do last year. This changed everything for Michigan. What I saw from him last year to the first game in his 11 snaps to the first half on Saturday night, Michigan came out, scored 42 points, and he made downfield passes, the likes of which we've rarely seen in the history of Michigan football. This puts Michigan right at the top of the teams that can win the national championship this year. Not just win the Big Ten, not just maybe get into the playoff and lose, to win the national championship. I am that confident in what I've seen from JJ McCarthy so far this year. We'll talk about more about our reactions from Saturday, but we are presented by BetUS, our sports book partner. Michigan covered the spread in the first half, and maybe that's what we need to stick to at this point, just covering the spread in the first half. They didn't cover it. It was a 52-point spread at game time. Didn't cover that. Final score 56-10. Did not cover against Hawaii for the full game, but I made my bet. I bet first half. I bet total game. So we went 1-for-1 on Michigan, but I'm 2-for-1 on Michigan this season because I bet the first half against Colorado State. I encourage you to get going with BetUS if you want to have some fun. Bet on some sports, only money you can lose, but make sure if you do it, get going with their 125% deposit bonus. Best in the game. You got to use the link at the bottom of the screen to go on the landing page for viewers of this show, and then use that promo code GOBLUE, no spaces. Get a 125% deposit bonus. Put 100, get an extra 125. Put in 200, an extra 250, and up from there. BetUS, Chat Sports. Go to chatsports.com/GoBlue to get your BetUS deposit bonus. Next up, the Wi-Fi. Oh, the Wi-Fi. Michigan's putting out 6E. 6E, right? We got 3G, 4G, 5G. I don't even know what 6 is. It's even supposed to be GE, whatever it is. 6E Wi-Fi. Campus-wide. Blankets the campus. Well, let me just say this, folks. It didn't work, all right? The rain sucked on Saturday, right? It started raining about 3 hours before the game, and then about 2 hours before it stopped, and then about an hour later it started raining again there in Ann Arbor. Walking to the game, we're having lunch, having some dinner in downtown Ann Arbor, and the rain was brutal, okay? But here's what makes the rain even worse for this athletic department, for this game, for this program, is number one, even before Saturday, the athletic department knew it didn't exist. They went to mobile ticketing this season, so you couldn't just go to the game and, with your paper ticket server, mobile ticketing. They were calling season ticket holders on Friday, recorded line. I'm not even joking about this. Recorded line. We are aware that cell phone service and Wi-Fi connection is unable to be used around the Michigan Stadium. Please download your tickets to your phone in advance of arriving in Ann Arbor. Are you kidding me? You couldn't have stress tested this before the season or the last 20 years of people had cell phones going to Michigan football? That's number one, folks. How about this? I was with my two sisters and my dad at the game. My one sister, who's a nurse, had to take care of multiple Michigan students who were absolutely wasted out of their gourd trying to get into the stadium to meet their friends. One girl was absolutely having a complete mental breakdown that she couldn't find her friends, supposed to meet them at the entrance to the stadium. They wouldn't let anybody in, delaying an hour, and drunken kids crying, puking, couldn't get a hold of their friends, couldn't get a hold of people they were trying to meet. How about this? I'll meet you in front of the stadium. Well, if you can't get into the stadium, you can't meet, there's a huge group of people. Terrible experience if you don't have Wi-Fi. You want to tweet out some things during the game. You want to get other scores from the game. Absolutely unacceptable that Michigan bragged about this new Wi-Fi, campus-wide Wi-Fi network. Not only did it not exist, folks, or not only did you couldn't connect to it, it did not exist. There was no free Wi-Fi that was available the entire game that any fan could connect to. You couldn't even try, so it didn't exist. Absolute sham. One positive note on this is even though the Wi-Fi didn't work, even though there was rain and everything that happened there, maybe my rant, if you guys saw it, I put it on Twitter the other day from last year, telling the students to stay in the damn game, do everything you want to do at the frat house, you can do it at the stadium, because the fans showed up in this one. Michigan announced 110,000. It was probably more around 100,000, but it was almost a full stadium by the end of the first quarter. Big shout out to the Michigan football fans and, most importantly, the students for coming up, waiting through the rain, and making this one a hell of a night there on Saturday night in Ann Arbor. My next overreaction is, how about this offense? Because Michigan and Jim Harbaugh with Cade McNamara as the backup quarterback now, and JJ McCarthy, number one scoring offense in America. Toss those up on screen there, producer Jack, best in the game. Michigan's tied with James Madison and USC, averaging 53.5 points per game. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty excited of that because they should be still number one, I would expect, after this game against UConn. Hell, how about against Maryland? How about against Iowa? I don't see the 50-point-a-game hype train slowing up anytime soon for this Michigan program. You see Kansas in there, kind of a crazy one. And then Georgia Southern. Who'd they beat again this past weekend? I can't remember. They beat somebody. They beat who? I can't remember. Georgia Southern. Nebraska, that's right, Nebraska. They just beat Nebraska. Those are the teams leading college football in scoring. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. How many points will Michigan score Saturday night against a team that should be no better than Hawaii or Colorado State in UConn? How many will they score on Saturday with JJ McCarthy as your official long-term permanent starting quarterback? I'm going to go off the top of my head. I'm going to go 63 points on Saturday night. Give me your score prediction. Not your score prediction. How many points Michigan will score down below? James, you didn't put out a video Sunday. I was protesting because we didn't get to 21,000 subscribers. Not actually. I couldn't get Wi-Fi. I mean, we left the game with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter or something like that. went and got some pizza, and then drove out of town. I couldn't get any cell phone connection literally until almost 2 in the morning because of how bad the traffic and the cell signal was in Ann Arbor. And then flew to Chicago, took a connecting flight like an amateur, and got caught up in that Chicago rainstorm you saw at the Bears 49ers game yesterday. So I couldn't do a post-game video. I didn't get home till later. Studio was already shut down. So let me know if you've subscribed down below. And if you haven't yet, now is the time. We need 62 more subscribers to get to 21,000. Let me show my face around here and not be shunned by the people who said that I couldn't do it. We couldn't get to 21,000 by kickoff on Saturday. Number 4, overreaction. And this is a good overreaction in some ways. I don't think it's crazy to think about that 2 guys that no one a couple months ago was thinking would be stars of this defense, Makari Paige, Mike Sainristil, folks. They are having great ball games. Those are the 2 jersey numbers, and the PA announcer Saturday night were flying all over the ball. Mike Sainristil brought it in game 1. Makari Paige is there in game 1 as well. But in the first half in this second game, both those guys are making big-time plays. Excited to see what we're seeing from Sainristil. Makari Paige, another experienced player, 3rd year in the program. Technically still a backup safety, but he seemed like he was playing starter snaps to me on Saturday night. Now, with UConn coming up, with Maryland, passing game there, this defense might not get challenged till, Penn State game on October 15th, Michigan State game on October 29th, to get a bye in between there. Maybe Maryland's passing game. They've got a good offense. They've got one of the best passers in the country through 2 games right now. Maryland does. So potentially the game in 10 days, the 4th home game of the year, the 4th game to start the year against Maryland, could present some challenges. But I'm looking at the schedule. I don't see anybody that I'm scared of with this Michigan has going on defense right now until maybe Ohio State, all right? We'll see what happens there. C.J. Stroud, clearly, guy is not a big-time performer. But this Michigan defense is matching the offense with their play and their output on the scoreboard. Gave up 7 points, gave up 10 points in the second game. My 5th overreaction, this one, maybe I'm a little, guilty of myself, but I saw a ton of people throwing out all kinds of love for this team after 2 games. It's tough not to get excited like this guy did, right? James Yoder says, I've never been more excited about Michigan football. This team is a machine. It's a good team so far. Everything's clicking on offense. Everything's clicking on defense. You're not missing anybody. Now, these are 2 of the worst teams in the NCAA you face in Colorado State and Hawaii and probably in UConn here. So let's not jump too far ahead of ourselves. But boy, am I excited because I think finally Michigan has always had, the running game sometimes here and there. They've had a good running game a lot of times. They've always had a stout defense when they've had their better teams, 97, 2016, 2006, and on and on, 1999, 2021. Has Michigan ever paired those things with an elite NFL first-round draft pick style quarterback passing game? I can't remember one, to tell you the truth. Maybe Elvis Gerbach, 1991. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. So let me know what you guys think. Is this 2022 Wolverine team, is this the best Michigan team since 1997? Let me know down in the comments. Go ahead and down there. Give me a Y if it's yes. No question yes. No. Tell me which team between 97 and now has been better. Hell, a lot of you guys will say 2021. That's okay too. But I think at the end of the day, when Michigan gets to the end of the season, maybe they don't accomplish the same things. Maybe they lose a game that we should in Ohio State or something else. But I think head-to-head, this, for me, I'm going, yes, this is the best Michigan football team I can remember seeing since 1997. All right, we'll be back. It'll be Tuesday tomorrow. We'll have our Michigan football flash mob, so make sure you tune in and subscribe to the channel.